Alrighty, good morning. Welcome back to the stream. The Checkmate coronavirus is winding down. Today is the last day of tournaments on Elite Chess. So, figured we might as well send it out with a bang. Stream on the last day and see what happens. See if we can get a crack at any more titled players. See if we could maybe beat one. Alright, we got this isolated d-pawn, which can be a target maybe if we can line up some pieces on the d file. Yeah, but it does give him some nice diagonals. Okay, queen c7 eyes this bishop for some perhaps potential discoveries, and it also allows me to play knight g4. Okay, so since you allowed, I'm going to play knight to g4. Point is, I win the bishop pair because of the attack on h2. And that's it. And because I win the bishop pair, I remove some defenders of the center, and I can perhaps pop my knight in. Okay, I wasn't expecting rook takes. Expecting f takes, and then you play along the file with your rook. If you're sacrificing something on e6, go ahead. I don't think you are. I think you're going to go knight e4, knight c5, but that doesn't work. So what, knight e4, bishop back, and now the bishop's cut. Now that rook has cut off the other bishop's retreat squares, so it has to go back to a2. Yep, back a2. Knight c4 immediately threatens a fork. And if takes takes, then I have the bishop pair versus the knight pair. I think we'll roll with that. Queen h5. Okay, knight takes b2. Rook f3. Interesting. f5. Alright, welcome to Pawn Grabbers United with HSB. Okay, so obviously you have pressure on f7. I can play f5. Hits the knight. Knight has to go back, and then I can even take on d4. Because my bishop still guards my base pawn. And this knight probably has to go back and then takes on d4 is with tempo. Oh, the knight goes back. I can just take the knight on c3. Nope, I can't because the rook defends it. Okay. Good to have that cleared up and out of the way. If you are checking out this stream and were wondering a little bit about me, no town player, I'm just a little enthusiast. I'm rated about 1400 over the board. I play maybe around a 1900 something level on Lead Chess. Stream on chess.com occasionally, but mostly on chess.com I just play whatever I feel like, which is typically not not stupendous openings. So if you're watching and you're on Lead Chess right now and you want to challenge me, feel free. Oh, queen takes f5. Oh, dummy, because that thing is pinned. I can take on d4. Okay, bring it. Bring it. This is going to turn into a time scramble, and I'd rather be the fellow with the extra pawn than not in a time scramble. Queen f7 immediately, okay. And now bishop takes. Queen e8. Oh. Now bishop b1. Alright, this is suddenly becoming a lot more critical than I want it to be. Discoveries happen, I'm cooked. Think. Okay, you must blunt this bishop. You have to blunt the bishop. Queen f7. Okay. Do you take the draw? No, you don't take the draw. That could just mean you lose, obviously. This is not a good idea. And yet we're somehow surviving. Man, we should have been made it a long time ago. Rook d1. No time to think. Okay, this is heck tick. And I'm getting mated. I just got mated. Ugh. Oh. Man, just take the draw. Okay. g6. What kind of Slav is this? Huh. Queen b6, c5. I've played similar London positions before out of what? After an exchange Slav, yeah. I've played an exchange Slav like that. e5 takes, so queen b6. c5 takes, and then we push the b pawn down the board. Alright, London system. Yep, c5 takes. Takes f3. Knight a6. Coming for b4. I'll chop that. Thank you very much for the pawn. And it's impossible to defend both long term because knight here and double attack on this pawn, and you're not castled yet, so you can't bring the rook over to c8. Knight e4. Still strikes me as a little odd. Knight takes c6. And now this c pawn is poised to be very strong, as this pawn is in trouble. And okay, so he trades off that knight. Not sure if that helps. Alright, let's bring the other rook into the party and see what happens. This is already going to be near impossible to defend, as that's pawn number 3, and you can't grab this because of check. And I trade off that. And now that I've just simplified more material, we can play c4, and we can say this bishop on h8 is hitting granite. Enjoy. h3 because we don't want him to get back ranked, which would be rather embarrassing in a winning position. Now, as all of our pawns are rock solid, we swing the rook to a1, a7, and start targeting these pawns, potentially with intermediate checks on c7 and b7 if necessary. Rook a3. Okay, so rook a3 stops the rook from getting to the a file, but I'll put the rook on the b file, and we'll play for the pawn now. Play for rook b6, maybe rook d6, maybe the pawn can be pushed. Cardinal rule of endgames, passed pawns must be pushed, and we will do our very best here to push it. yeah, this thing is just going down. Yeah, this is already resignable because rook to b8 is unstoppable, and this is going to be GG's. Promotes to queen, and mate happens very fast. Alright, good game. If anyone watching is playing on lead chess, feel free to challenge me at HSB, and I will try to take your challenge, maybe in between or after tournament games. Okay. We have another modern defense. Does he go for a King's Indian kind of here? Yes. So e6. Okay, this is not good. This is not good for black. Already I have threats of e5, and you really have to start loosening. Yep, and that's adios. Alright, if you are new checking out the channel, I have a little highlight from my very first stream where I believe that almost this exact sequence happened. If you want to check out that highlight, it is a miniature in the streamer team battle. You can find that on my Twitch page or on my YouTube channel. But in the meantime, we have some chess to play. Alrighty, so maneuvering this knight around, perhaps thinking about taking. So I want to take first. I don't want you to get this knight outpost. Take back with the knight, then I take with the knight. And this isolated d pawn is not really a weakness because A, I have this monster knight on e5, and secondly, I'm also up a piece for just a pawn, so this is, well, given our limited skill level, this should be winning. And now we're playing to loosen up this pawn structure here on the queen side a little bit. It's fairly similar to minority attack structure and like a queen's gambit decline. White doesn't have a c-pawn, but is pushing forward the queenside pawns to create weaknesses on the light squares. And those can be exploited with maybe a queen or some rooks on the C and B files. Yep, and it's a blitz game, and there's one weakness. You just dropped the c6 pawn. And now these pawns on a5 and d5 are sitting ducks. And up a piece, I'm the one who has more firepower to get at them. Okay, rook e6. Rook e6. This queen on f6 looks decent, but it's really doing nothing. If anything, black might get desperate enough to try f6 to kick the knight away, because currently my knight is just too strong on e5, and okay, this gives that pawn, but it does allow to play f6. queen to b3 here. This pawn is still going to be hanging in a minute. Oh. What? This is reaching the realm of you should have seen that coming. Pawn on d4 is overloaded, guarding both the knight and the rook, and so you sacrifice the exchange temporarily, and then you win it back. Okay, well, we still have winning chances in this ending, but if black mobilizes the d-pawn, that could be rather scary. A little intermediate move here, coming with check. And now this is turning into just be a race situation, as it's two passed pawns versus two passed pawns. Here's the reasoning behind queen a2. First of all, you want to keep defending this pawn. Second of all, you don't want this pawn to just march forward down the board unstoppable. Third, I want the queen covering b1 in the short term, because if takes, I want to play rook takes d4, but there would have been queen to b1 otherwise. Rook e1 is played just trying to promote the pawn, and given that we're down the clock, we need to give our opponent concrete problems to solve. Alright, I'm looking for some forks. I am looking for forks. To pick up this rook on a5, I think you must play king f8. King f8 played. But the problem is your king and rook are too disconnected, and I think I'm going to pick up something sooner or later, and there it is. There we go. The queen picks up both the passed pawns easily. And that's a good game, my friend. GG's. Oh, there's a couple of regular titled players. I've faced the fellow FM who has the username The Stench. I've faced him before. You can check out that encounter. It's my video, How to Beat FM 101, and it was quite nice. D4? Interesting. Let's try it. Obviously, if my arrow skills were better, takes. And I think that's alright. Okay, knight takes, knight back. Huh. I don't like that. Because of check, and now my queen is annoying. Yep, just kind of arbitrarily because it's a blitz game and we still have the bishop pair. I think we'll try to keep the queens on the board. So threatening takes, so anticipating castles. Bishop d6, something like that. Although knight there is annoying. Oh, my. uh. So much for the bishop pair meaning anything. Okay. Yeah, let's just resign. That was rather pathetic game. Alright, let's try not to continue sacrificing the queen. Well, I hope we get a shot at this fella, the Stench, again. Or maybe Storm Man. I've seen both of them around in these Checkmate coronavirus arenas in the mornings. So hopefully we'll get a shot at somebody. Oh, alright, yet another Queen's Gambit declined. Oh, Tarash. Okay, Tarash defense. Takes. Takes. This is my kind of line against the Tarash. Oh, okay, so he's bringing it too. This is certainly a very interesting game. Queen e5. I know it's not a super principled move, but knight. Oh, the knight's now on f6. Okay. And remember knight a4, queen b4. So yeah, this is kind of opening principle why you don't want your queen in the center of the board, because it gets pushed around probably a bit more than you would like. But hey, we've got a fairly comfortable position. Let's not get the queen trapped. Or blunder it. That would be good advice. Let's not blunder the queen. Okay, so you're planning knight discoveries. Alright. If the queens are a liability, then queens come off the board. So bishop c5 is interesting. I could just go back, queen h4. Okay, what's this guy's rating? 1618. And for some reason, I'm not playing super high rated players today. Anyway, we have our queen kind of out of harm's way. Whoa, bishop c4. Okay, this is unexpected. I can just take it. Thank you for the free piece. Queen d6, okay. No thank you on meeting my uncast. Whoa. What in the world is this? It's the queen. A4. A3. A4. Yep, guarding the knight is more important than lining the queen up on this diagonal. While lining the queen up on that diagonal may look amazing, if this knight is still on f6, then it's irrelevant. Okay, bishop back. Knight e5. Alright, we're still rather down on the clock, so okay, it seems like our esteemed opponent is giving it back, because rook c8 seems fairly intuitive here. You kick the queen. Although this queen on a6 is stuck babysitting the a pawn. Okay, hits the queen again. Okay. Takes. Pins the knight. And we have now somewhat of a time lead. E4 is a threat. Queen b4. Okay, don't know what that was about. Okay, just keep playing chess. Both sides are quite low on time. Okay, so getting under. Oh, okay. This is. Oh, that hits the rook. That hits the rook. The rook's got to move. Or be defended. 94. Don't get back ranked. The one thing you can't do right here is get back rank mated. One thing to not do is get mated. And time's out. Okay. Okay. Oh, it looks like our friend FM the Stench is making a move. He's currently 4th. Okay, this is, what's this called? The Torre attack or something? Why do I always fall for the trap that after f3 he's thinking of e4 when typically my opponent is going for just g4? I need to start learning that g4 is coming. The good news, your king could be kind of questionably placed. Huh. Take. Followed up by bishop b4. This is a very interesting game. I think I need more experience in some of these early Torre attack kind of structures. b4 bishop. What? What? Okay. King f2. Why king f2? Because now I have incentive to blow open the center, because your king could still technically be considered in the center. Yeah, e5 is coming. G takes what? That's a full piece. I mean, obviously you're thinking of the attack, but really? Ends up resigning. Alright, I hope we get a crack at a title. Oh, Berserks. Okay. This is the point of my late chess existence, is to crush as many berserkers as I can. And the Chagorn, the defense is a great defense for a berserker because you immediately force an unorthodox position. Okay, c6. Thing about berserking is you also lose all increment. So while I'm playing with the 2-second increment in this game, my opponent is not. And I just overlooked knight g4. Okay, we need to develop. But is that losing a pawn? Okay, it is losing a pawn. But we do get some nice activity from the pieces. Alright, let's shuffle some pieces around and okay. Alright, we have 7th rank occupation here. We are facing a berserker. So, queen takes, rook there. Okay, we need to defend against mate. h5. Okay, how do we bring another rook in? You know what, we'll just play rook c1 and... Oh. Okay, our opponent has hit exactly half of their time. And it's still a game. Queen f2. I think the pawn can be grabbed back. Rook there. Pieces just gather around the king. Rook f3. Rook g3. g6, don't care. The pawn is pinned. But queen h6. What to do, what to do. 24 seconds on the clock for my opponent. This could get interesting. I can seize a draw. Who is this guy? 2300. Take. This would be a huge win if I could get it. My opponent offers a draw. I'm sorry. I know this is drawn, but you have seconds on the clock. Okay. 5 seconds. 4. 1 second. Less than 1 second. And that's time. There we go. There we go. There we go. We have fulfilled our purpose on Elite Chess. We have notched down a Berserker's ego some. And let's keep this party rolling. Won 3 straight games, which is great. Let's just keep this party rolling and see what we've got. Oh man, I hope we can get in a Sicilian 4 Knights today. We haven't had any. Alright, there we go. Sicilian 4 Knights defense, which is my specialty. Knight b5, bishop b4. a3 takes c3, knight takes c3, d5 takes. Bishop to d3, d4. Knight to e2. Castles. Queen to d6. Bishop f4, queen d5. I believe that all of this is theory. Now I'm out of my theory. But I can play knight e4. Rook e1, we need to develop. Okay. I feel like we've gotten a decent game out of this 4 knights. Okay, knight e7. Yeah, we can't exactly go to d5 without tossing the pawn. So, what else can be done? Oh, there's not even a threat to grab the pawn yet. Because the queen would have to get out of the way while still attacking the pawn first. Even though there's 2 attackers and 1 defender, the only attacker that can grab it first is more valuable than the first defender. So this doesn't work. Okay, the knight's attacked. As soon as we unpin, there's a lot of pressure on c2. So, what do you do here? Bishop takes, rook takes. And I don't know what you've achieved. You have knight e4. You know what, just scratch you, h6. Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. So we have this ready to double structure. h5. Annoying. Queen f6, knight f4, queen f5. Or knight e4, queen f5 rather. And we're just fine. Alright, let's keep this momentum rolling. 1-3 straight games. We can keep this going. Alright, let's just liquidate. This d pawn could be weak later, so let's just go after the c pawn instead. If you don't take the deep pawn immediately. We have perhaps rook c4, rook c3. If the queen goes to b3, we have potential for discoveries. So don't discount discovered checks. Alrighty, bring it on. Let's keep this game going. Queen to d6. Okay. Yeah, I think that might have made a mistake. Because now knight e4 is a fork. Okay, so c3 was not the score for the rook. But if it's just an exchange, the game can keep playing. And you still have to be careful about not getting mated. Rook there. Okay. This is a good spot for the rook, actually. Alright, if you give me rook a1, I'll take it. Seems like a decent enough move. The time scenario could start playing a much larger factor quite soon. Rook c8 not a threat. I don't think, at least. No, it is a threat. The hidden threat is this rook coming in. Can I grab f2? Rook c8 takes. Rook d8. I can actually grab f2. Rook c8 only gives you a perpetual, I think. c8 takes. Queen e8. King h7. Here, I can even play f5. Okay. Rook c7 instead. Okay, b6. That pawn is a target, but because now the rook takes this, we have this pawn fork, or the fork on the pawns, rather. Oh, shoot. That's the game. Forgot that that back rank was still an issue. Alright, this is not a pretty situation. Yeah, you start picking off my pawns. Okay. Yeah, this is reasonable. Good game, Sloper. That was a lot of fun. After telling myself not to get back ranked for a minute, I get myself back ranked. How predictable. Alright. Let's keep on rolling. Let's check on those tiled players toward the top of the tournament. Oh, the Candidate Master's leading. Nice. Good job, Storm Man. And we have our FIDE that we beat last time around back in the second page. Queen's Gambit accepted. Let's go casual mode here. had people play c5, but they get into big trouble after queen to b3. So, alright, we have queen's gambit accepts the structure. This is just fairly meh. There's going to be development. Bishop's going to get relocated to d3. Rook hits the c file. Oh, okay. e5 has been played, which gives us an opportunity to play queen b3. This is a very, very common tactic in a lot of structures if your opponent is not careful, because you threaten to take on b7 with the queen, and you also threaten to take on f7 with the bishop, which would be quite annoying. So, what's the move here for black? Probably something like queen e7, queen takes b7, rook to d8 maybe, but that gives up 2 pawns. What's a move? Okay, bishop e6. Okay, so that gives a pawn this way. But we still have pressure. I can take b7, rook of b8, queen here. You know what, the knight's under attack, so let's solve that problem first. Now knight e6 is an idea. Alrighty, knight e6. And what do? You can't castle because knight controls d8. And even if you're not landing on it, you can't castle through a controlled square. So you have to get rid of the knight. You would have to do that since there are no pawns on the DNF files. You'd have to do that by kicking it with a knight from one of those squares. However, it's really hard to get anything to one of those squares. Knight b5. This g5 pawn, I can get that when I want. Although it might not even be the best idea because A, it allows castling, B, it allows rook to g8 in most lines. So instead, knight b5, we ramp up the pressure, c7 is the target now. e4. Looks very good for white. Takes on d5, and I like white's position a lot. Okay, so takes. If knight takes, we can even just play queen takes, and then knight takes c7. Queen drops back, rook e1. And then maybe even d6. Oh, hold up, we also have that. Oh, queen c3. Hits the rook and also threatens forks. That looks really good. Queen c3. Knight takes doesn't work because the rook hangs on h8. And a quick thank you to everyone who is checking out the stream today. Really do appreciate it. Playing one of the Checkmate Coronavirus arenas on Lead Chess. And if any of you is playing on Lead Chess and wants to challenge me, feel free. Send me a challenge at HSB, same link you see for the Twitch stream. Right now we're busy cleaning up this guy's mess, and hopefully we'll win the game rather quickly. King f7, only legal move here. Queen takes h7 looks... Okay, queen takes h7, king f8. Do I mate the guy, or do I not mate the guy? You know what, heck, let's just grab the second rook. Again, thank you to everyone who is checking out the stream. Okay, let's just return the queen back to h8. Does a couple things. First, defends b2, attacks h7, does several nice things. Queen b4. Hits the rook, and obviously I need to move the bishop. Or we could just take on h7 with check first. And now king d8, now we can do this, because the bishop can't recapture because it's pinned. And we have solved our back rank issues, and now we have various threats, including queen here. Takes that with check. This is a massacre. Rook takes e7 with check. All right, and resigns. Sweet. Reason for resigns is queen to g8 is lights out, as queen to d8 just doesn't quite cut it, as you still get mated very fast, as queen back, queen back, takes, king takes, rook d1, king c8, rook c8 is mate, so we mate the fellow very fast. Alright, 22 minutes left in the tournament. Alright. $43rd in the tournament isn't bad. Well, let's see if we can get another Sicilian Fortnights in. That would be an enjoyable pursuit, especially as I know a lot of the theory here. If you're interested in checking out some nice Sicilian Fortnights theory, I have a study. And this looks like a really bad Fortnights where you just wasted a tempo with knight back. Alright, let's keep this party rolling. Thematic Fortnight's ideas of bishop b4 and among other stuff. Bishop b4, you can take on c6 whenever you like, I don't mind. Bishop to d2, because this pin is very unpleasant, however, a6. And we will get nice pressure here on e5. So bishop a5, because I want to reroute the bishop to c7 for more fire on e5. Queen e2 most likely. And then castles, and we have a game. Okay, gives up the e5 pawn. Rook e1, queen c7. Targeting that. So h3, bishop f6. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll park the bishop on e5. Castles, as we're up 2 pawns and doing quite well. See what else we got. Knight here, bishop here. Oh, this is not good for white. This is begging for the king to get nuked, as there's just not that many pieces near the king. D4 with check. Although I'm gonna elect for D4 with check. Yeah, why not? Rook B1, Rook B8 rather, because you realize before you play Queen takes C5 that you need to defend the bishop because there's a rook on the B file. So, alrighty. And now the threat is just to pick up or grab another pawn, really, because we're technically still up a pawn and unleash massive attacks against the king. If you defend the pawn, say, I don't know, bishop b4, then there's a5. And the bishop just gets sent back, and then we take on c5 anyway. And we still have a lot of pressure against the king. d3 check is a threat. No, not take c2, but queen c6, followed by multiple mating sequences, is also in the air. So this looks like a very dominating position for black. A pawn's also hanging. Okay, queen to c1. Queen to c6, threatening queen f3 check, followed by queen to g2 mate. This kind of requires a response, because mate threats are rather important. Check king e1. Okay, I'll give you credit for that one. Check king e1, bishop a6. And this is why you do not open up your king, boys and girls, because bad things might happen to the tune of just bishops and queen, just raking everything. Rook takes b1 as just a little deflection away from c4, and I think that you can safely resign, because takes here, and you're just groveling. d3. You know what, let's just hold this pin a little bit longer. And just d3. It's sufficient. Queens come off the board, and this is completely winning. Maybe even if moves the knight. Do I have any, like, queen e2 ideas? Rook f1 blunders horribly, but you have 7 seconds on the clock, you're not finding everything, and mate. Good game, Sandani. 15 minutes left in the tournament. Alright, where are we at? Alright, HSB here, 41st place, which is not bad. Performance rating 1948, of which I can accept, as I am currently 1912 rated, so... Alright, we got another white, which is nice. Okay, we just go another Queen's Gambit decline structure. Whoa, G6. How do we get the rage behind G6? This almost looks like a opening out of bizarre 3-check. All right. 95. And we should have a pretty decent position here. 95, you can't trade because of this pin. We won a game like that earlier today. Okay. H6. Drop back the bishop. And now we have possibilities of prying open this structure with H4. Although, as we're going to be castling short, that might not be advised. Okay, Queen A5. Pins the knight. Don't really care. Just castles. B5. Okay, so expansion is happening. And just A3. That bishop on B7 looks rather bored, as it's not going anywhere. H4 doesn't really endanger my king's safety, but it could pry open my opponent's. Knight takes E5. Okay, takes. As this happens with tempo, and then takes on G5. Next. There you go, takes G5. I might have preferred Knight D7, but oh well. Wait, is F4 really strong here? Knight E4. Alrighty, what's a good plan? F4. Okay, let's start. Knight E4, knight takes E4, bishop takes. No, I don't like that because it gives your bishop an active square on D5. Alright, quiet move. Rook D1. No, not F3. We need some other sort of plan here. Just made with the idea that I have nothing else to do. And it's a Blitz game, so who cares? Massive threat of F4. And you can't really move the knight either. Alrighty. So F4 is an incredibly strong threat. Takes, doesn't exactly help your cause. Is there a way for you to guard H7? Probably, but only through giving up a piece after like F5 takes, bishop takes F4, rook G7. So I think that we just won a piece. Alright, is there another defense here? Okay, f5, g takes. Or e takes f6, bishop takes f6, f4. Clever, but I don't think that's enough because I have king f2. And I'm still threatening mate. Your knight's still under attack, and my bishop on g3 is defended. So I think this should suffice. Rooks can swing over to the h-file. Rook takes h6 is kind of hard to parry. I think this was a very solid game. Floundered a little bit to come up with a plan, but once we did, my opponent sleepwalked for a little bit, and then it's unfortunately going to be GG's, hopefully in a few seconds. Check. F5. Okay, let's keep this attack rolling. Okay, we need to keep moving. We only have 25 seconds. And the last thing we want after a nicely won game is time trouble. This is rather nasty. This is check from the bishop. So this is... What? The king could just take the rook. How did I miss that? Alright, we'll still take the win here. And we're in the top 30 in the tournament. One game to go, most likely, as we could... Okay, so one game left in the tournament, one game left in the stream, and then we will hop off as then it will be time to raid somebody. So if you're one of the few people in chat and want to see a raid, please let me know who you would like me to raid, and please let me know that they're also live. This is why I don't like playing at Smith Mora. I should have just played my immediate d5. Thanks. Thanks. Okay, we just gave back the pawn with a worse position. Not great. Okay. Focus, focus, focus. This could be landing in the top 30 or not, so let's bring it. Queen e2. I can't castle. I can trade queens. Alright, let's see if we can unwind here somehow. castle's long. Okay. King's out of the center, but that bishop pair is rather annoying. Okay, move the bishop. Okay. Happily trade off your bishop pair. Okay. Guards f7. Guards f7 prepares to double on the d file. A7 not an issue at the moment. I think this is going to be a fairly equal ending, but we'll see. Alright, last game of the tournament, and then raid. Raid. Rook e8, not an issue, because the knight covers that square, so the knights do a good job of covering the back rank. Okay, rook e3. Okay, just takes. Alright, we're looking pretty good. We'll just place our pawns on knight squares and play this nice game. Knight d2. Okay. I'm anticipating takes c6. So knight takes c6, b takes on c6, b4. Knight b5. Why that? Okay, you're threatening knight d6 check. Do I mind? Okay, I say no, let's just trade down. So, okay, so you take another pawn off the board. Okay. Knight a5 goes after that pawn. Knight back to d6. Okay, c5. Knight here hits the bishop and hits the pawn. And now a5. Why not? This could be a very useful outside passed pawn. Knight takes h6. Okay, we've committed fully now. There's no going back. This knight is too far away from usefulness in stopping the pawn. You got to create your own passer to survive here as white. This is pretty decent endgame. Pretty decent. g4, okay. Alright, we've netted a piece, but this is still not easy, as my opponent is threatening to create a passed pawn on the king's side. So let's wheel our forces back in. And this pawn has to be protected. This could be a very tricky endgame win if something goes wrong. Okay, the passed H pawn is no more. But this game is not an easy win. Oh no, knight d6. Oh boy. Okay. If you know what you're doing, you should sacrifice the knight for the pawn. Okay. You sacrifice the knight for the pawn. Two knights can't mate on their own if I know correctly. However, two knights versus pawn is maybe possible. Well, two knights versus pawn is possible, but at my strength, I don't know. Okay, so you miss your opportunity to take the pawn. This is still not easy. Okay, so finally realizes to take the pawn. And now begins the hard part. The pawn cannot be captured. But if the pawn's not captured, then where's my progress? Yeah, this is downright dastardly hard. The pawn is still held up. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, that just seals the draw. The knight sacrifices itself for the pawn when the pawn advances. Oh, well, it was a very interesting game. Okay. Very, very good game. Abdel Nabi. Very, very fun. So that's the tournament. Congratulations to the winners, Master Saturn, Candidate Master Stormman 67, and Mike 2005. And now it is time for a raid. Raid time. Alright, let's raid Lille. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And this is HSB signing off.